Okay, so I must be feeling the comic books and the graphic novels right now, and some of that I'm sure is because I'm in a graphic novel class, but the other is just because a lot of times during summer I find myself falling back in love with things that I've loved in the past, but now I have like more time to engage with them. And so one of those things for me is comics. I love comic books, and I would read every single one basically if I had the time, but I don't. But I am going to take some time right now to talk to you about another comic book that I really love. And if you remember, I've said several times that I primarily collect comic books in omnibus form. And the great thing about omnibuses, or omnibi, I don't really know what the right one is. I think it's omnibuses. The great thing about omnibuses is that they hold a lot of comic books, so they take a while to read. Whereas a regular comic book or a graphic novel you might knock out in like an hour, an omnibus is going to take you just a little bit longer to get through. The and you get so much story all at once. The negative thing is that they're a little bit costly. So you want to go somewhere like in stock trades or cheap graphic novels because they're the best place for you to get omnibuses. You can get them when they come out for about half price, which is definitely the way to go. So, for instance, the omnibus I'm going to talk to you about today is the Miles Morales, Spider-Man Miles Morales omnibus. Now, there are two omnibuses about Miles Morales. This is the newer one. The older one covers Miles Morales when he was part of the Ultimate Marvel Universe, which is how Miles Morales was created and invented. And I'll talk about that more in just a second. Just to give you a heads up, this omnibus here has Spider-Man from 2016, numbers 1 through 21, and 234 to 240. It has Spider-Gwen from 215, or from 2015, excuse me, numbers 16 through 18. It's got a mini-series called Spider-Man 2, numbers 1 through 5, and it's got Generations, Miles Morales Spider-Man, and Peter Parker Spider-Man. So we're talking about, 40 to 50 issues of a comic book here. The retail price for this is $100. And with omnibuses, if you don't get them right when they come out, they can go out of print, and so it can be harder to find them, and they can be marked up in price. This is I think this may be a second printing of this at least, but I'm not 100% sure. So $100, you can usually find this on in stock trades or cheap graphic novels for about $50 to $60, which is much better. So if you're not familiar with Miles Morales was originated by Brian Michael Bendis in the Spider-Man Ultimate, like the Ultimate Marvel universe, right? So the Ultimate Marvel universe was this totally different universe that did not connect to the rest of the comics. It was like a new start for all these comic book characters. And when Ultimate Spider-Man started, it was Peter Parker, but eventually Miles Morales also became Spider-Man, and Peter Parker trained him, and then Peter Parker died, and Miles Morales took over as the Ultimate Marvel Spider-Man. This takes place when the universes merge, and now Miles Morales from Ultimate Marvel Spider-Man is a part of the regular universe, right? So he is in the same world as Peter Parker and a lot of other wonderful characters. If you've watched Spider-Man Homecoming and Spider-Man Far From Home, there are aspects of Peter Parker in those movies that are really based strongly off of Miles Morales' character. And Ned Leeds, who is a real character from the regular Spider-Man universe in those movies, is based more off of a character named Ganke, and I don't know if I pronounced it correctly. It's Ganke, a character named Ganke, who is Miles' best friend. So that's the dynamic there. So this has him getting used to the new universe, facing off against the Sinister Six, connecting with the role in like Civil War, and it has the charm that original Spider-Man had back in the day, where it's a young kid and trying to wrestle between high school and being a superhero. We love Miles Morales Spider-Man for a whole bunch of reasons. The art in here is just phenomenal, and beautiful work, and we are so excited about this book. My kids love this book, so I highly recommend Spider-Man Miles Morales Omnibus, or you can pick it up in individual volumes, but definitely pick it up.